Here are my must-start running backs for Week 13.
First up, we have Tony Pollard, who finally looks like he's starting to put it together. We have 2 straight weeks in the top 12, and it's actually the first time since Week 6 he's been in the top 12. And this week he has a matchup with the Seahawks, who give up the 4th most fantasy points to running backs. The big reason for that is they allow the 6th most receiving yards to running backs, and Pollard is usually pretty involved in the passing game, with at least 5 receptions in 6 different games, so he could be in for a pretty big week. Next up, we have Bijan Robinson, who's another guy who's finally gotten it going. He's had 2 straight games where he finished among the top 13 running backs, including last week where he finished 3rd. And he should be in for another big week as long as Arthur Smith doesn't do anything too crazy, because he's playing the Jets, whose defense gives up the 2nd most rushing yards and the 5th most fantasy points to running backs. And finally, we have Zach Moss, because Jonathan Taylor just had thumb surgery and he's probably going to miss a few weeks. Before Taylor took over, Moss was averaging 21 fantasy points per game. And while the Titans aren't the friendliest matchup, I'm not too concerned about it, because he's had monster games against very strong defenses already, including the Ravens and the Titans themselves in Week 5, who Moss had 165 yards and 2 touchdowns against.